What if the greatest war you'll ever fight isn't out there, in the chaos of ambition, betrayal, or loss, but deep within you? A silent, relentless battle that shapes every choice you make, every fear you hide, every moment you feel torn between who you are and who you could become. This is the war between your ego and your soul. The clash between the mask you wear to survive the world, and the truth you were born to embrace. You've felt it, haven't you? That ache when you achieve something great, but it leaves you hollow. That fleeting spark of peace when you act with kindness, only for doubt to pull you back into chaos. The ego is loud, cunning, demanding control at every turn. But the soul, it speaks in whispers, truths so profound they scare us. Truths that could set us free. Today, we're stepping into this war, not to destroy one side, but to transform both. To find the path to a renewed psyche, where your deepest self can finally breathe. This isn't just a story. It's your story. A map to understand why you feel so divided, and how to become whole. So, come with us. Let's walk the crossroads together. Stop. Right now. Close your eyes for just a second. Feel that knot in your chest, that restless hum in your mind, like a radio stuck between stations. That's not just stress. That's not just life. That's the war. Your ego, screaming for control, drowning out the quiet voice of your soul. But what if you could hear it? What if you could understand why you feel so torn, and how to find peace? This isn't just another video to scroll past. It's a mirror, reflecting the battle inside you. It's a call to pause, to listen, to choose a different path. Stay with us, because we're about to uncover truths that could change everything, truths about who you are, and who you're meant to be. At Renewed Psyche, we've spent years diving into the deepest questions of the human spirit. We've studied the piercing insights of Carl Jung, who mapped the soul's journey to wholeness. We've explored Plato's timeless philosophy, revealing the soul's struggle for harmony. We've drawn from the sacred wisdom of Islamic psychology, where the ego and soul dance in a divine quest for peace. And we've crafted tools like our breakthrough method and dignity test to guide you through your inner battles, not just to understand them, but to transform them. This isn't academic theory. It's a lifeline. A way to overcome your inner weaknesses, emotional reactivity, low self-worth, moral confusion, and rediscover the clarity of who you are. We're not here to lecture. We're here to walk with you, to help you navigate the crossroads of your own heart. What is the ego, really? Is it your enemy, a tyrant holding you back? Or a misunderstood protector, built to keep you safe? Why does it fight so fiercely against the soul's quiet call, a call to purpose, to truth, to a life you've always felt but never dared to chase? And why do we sabotage ourselves, chasing goals that leave us hollow, running from the very peace we crave? What does your soul want, and why is it so hard to hear it? These aren't just questions. They're keys to unlock the war within you. By the end of this journey, you'll not only understand the clash between ego and soul, you'll hold the tools to win it. Not by destroying your ego, but by aligning it with your soul's deepest truth. You'll learn the breakthrough method to shift from fear to freedom, and the dignity test to know who's steering your life, ego or soul. This is your chance to step into a renewed psyche. Don't turn away now. This isn't just a story, it's your story. A map to transform the war within you into a path of peace. Stay with us until the end, because we're unveiling the breakthrough method, a step-by-step guide to move from ego-driven fear to soul-led truth. And we'll share the dignity test, a powerful tool to reveal whether your ego or soul is in control. This is more than a video, it's a turning point. Your soul is waiting to be heard. Don't miss this. Grab a notebook, a cup of tea, or just a quiet moment. Let's walk this path together. Because the answers you're about to find could change everything. For thousands of years, humanity's greatest minds have wrestled with the war between ego and soul. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist, called it the split between the ego, our conscious mask, and the self, our true essence yearning for wholeness. Plato, the Greek philosopher, saw the soul as tripartite, torn between reason, spirit, and desire, each vying for control in a quest for harmony. Islamic psychology offers the nafs, the ego in 3 stages, from commanding to serene, and the ruh, the divine soul, seeking purification through surrender. These aren't just ideas. They're lanterns, illuminating the chaos and beauty within every one of us. Jung's individuation process is a map to wholeness, a journey to face your shadow, the parts of you the ego hides, and embrace your true self. Islamic wisdom charts the nafs from nafs al-amara, the commanding ego that demands control, to nafs al-mutmana, the serene soul at peace with the divine. Plato's tripartite soul reveals our inner conflict as universal, a struggle to balance desire's pull with reason's clarity. And Stoicism, with its call to detach from illusions, offers practical tools to quiet the ego's noise. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, saw the ego as a mediator, born in childhood to navigate our desires and society's rules. His concept of the death drive explains why we cling to destructive patterns. These ancient and modern insights form the foundation of our work at Renewed Psyche. Today, we'll weave them into a path you can walk, a path to overcome emotional reactivity, low self-worth, and moral confusion. A path to a renewed psyche, where your ego serves your soul, not the other way around. This is no ordinary exploration. It's a descent into the heart of who you are. Let's begin. Meet Sarah. She's 32, a lawyer with a corner office, admired by colleagues, envied by friends. Her life looks perfect, awards on her shelf, a wardrobe of tailored suits, a calendar packed with high-stakes meetings. But every night, she lies awake, her heart racing like a trapped bird, feeling like a fraud. She's chasing promotions, approval, control, but deep inside, an ache grows, a whisper telling her this isn't who she is. This is the war between ego and soul. The ego shouts, I am what I achieve, what others see. The soul whispers, you are enough. Live for truth. What is the ego? Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, saw it as a mediator, born in childhood to balance our raw desires with the world's demands. When young Sarah spilled juice at the dinner table, her ego learned to seek approval, to hide vulnerability, to survive by being perfect. Islamic psychology calls this the nafs al-amara, the commanding ego, craving control at all costs. It's not evil, it's a shield, forged in the fires of childhood, to protect us from rejection, failure, pain. But shields can become cages, locking us away from our true selves. Why does the ego resist the soul? Because the soul demands surrender, a terrifying leap into the unknown. It asks Sarah to let go of her need to be seen as flawless, to trust a deeper truth. But her ego fears annihilation. It clings to the familiar, status, validation, control, even when it leaves her empty. This is the contradiction we all face. We crave the soul's freedom, but we run toward the ego's chains, mistaking them for safety. Why do we feel torn between what we want and what we know is right? It's cognitive dissonance, a psychological tug-of-war where the soul's truth clashes with the ego's illusions. Sarah wants the next promotion, the bigger paycheck, but her soul knows it's not her purpose. You've felt it too, when you said yes to please a boss, a friend, a lover, even though your gut screamed no. When you chased a goal that left you cold, wondering, is this all there is? This is the war, and it's tearing us apart. Jung called this the split between the ego and the self, the conscious mask versus the deeper truth. Plato's tripartite soul paints it as a battle between desire, spirit, and reason, each pulling us in different directions. Islamic psychology sees the nafs fighting the ruh, the divine soul, in a struggle for dominance. This contradiction isn't just Sarah's, Alex's, or Priya's, it's yours. It's the human condition, the war we all fight every day. What does the soul want? Carl Jung called it the self, the core of who you are, beyond the masks you wear or the roles you play. In Islamic tradition, the ruh is a divine breath, a spark of God's light, yearning for connection, purpose, and truth. Plato's rational soul seeks harmony with the eternal, a balance beyond fleeting desires. But the soul is often silenced, buried under layers of conditioning we've forgotten we carry, like a journal lost in the attic of our minds. The signs are there, if you dare to look. That pang of guilt when you betray your values, when Alex yells at his partner instead of listening. That fleeting peace when you act with kindness, when Priya helps a stranger and feels alive for a moment. That ache for something more, when Sarah gazes out her office window, dreaming of a life with meaning. The soul speaks through intuition, through moments of awe, through whispers in the silence. But the ego is loud, relentless, drowning it out with noise. What are the signs your ego is in control? Reactivity, snapping at a loved one, like Alex in a moment of pride. Overthinking, Sarah lying awake, replaying every mistake. Anxiety, Priya refreshing her phone, chasing validation that never satisfies. Power seeking, pursuing status to feel worthy, only to feel emptier. These are the symptoms of a soul repressed, a war where the ego reigns supreme. How do you know when you're living from ego or soul? The dignity test, our tool at Renewed Psyche, is your guide. Ask yourself, is this choice driven by fear or truth? When Sarah snaps at a colleague for questioning her, that's fear, her ego protecting its image. When Alex compares himself to influencers, that's fear, his ego needing to be enough. But when Priya paints for herself, not for likes, that's truth, her soul speaking. Try it now. Think of a recent decision, maybe a moment you felt defensive or chased approval. Was it ego or soul? Write it down. Feel the difference. Stoicism teaches us to notice these patterns. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, urged us to pause and ask, is this in my control? If it's not, others' opinions, external success, let it go. If it is, your actions, your values, choose wisely. This is how you begin to hear the soul's voice, how you start to shift the balance of the war. Look around you. Our world is built to feed the ego. Social media demands your image, perfect filters, curated lives, endless likes. Work demands your output, titles, raises, 80-hour weeks. Society demands conformity, fit in, don't question, keep up. Priya, a 25-year-old graphic designer, feels it every day. She posts her art online, her heart racing as she waits for likes, each notification a fleeting hit of validation. But when the likes fade, she's left emptier than before. Why? Because her ego is chasing applause, while her soul craves creation for its own sake. Why do we sabotage ourselves? Freud's death drive offers a clue. We cling to destructive patterns because they're familiar, safe. Priya procrastinates on her dream project, a graphic novel she's poured her heart into, because her ego fears failure. Sarah pushes away love, terrified of vulnerability, choosing control over connection. Alex chases promotions, buying a car he can't afford to keep up, only to feel hollow. This is the ego's trap. It serves itself, not your soul. It fears transcendence, the soul's call to rise above, to live authentically, to risk being seen. What is inner peace? It's not the absence of pain, it's the alignment of ego and soul, where your choices reflect your deepest truth. But it's rare because we avoid the journey. Why? Because it feels like death, a death of the false self, a rebirth into something greater. Society reinforces this avoidance, telling us peace is in more followers, more money, more control. But every time Priya chases likes, she feels the tear inside. Every time Sarah chooses ambition over authenticity, her soul grows quieter. You've felt it too, when you chose safety over truth, when you silenced your intuition to fit in. Jung's individuation process reminds us this conflict is universal, a journey to integrate the ego with the self. Islamic psychology's nafs al-lawwama, the self-reproaching ego, begins to question these patterns, stirring the soul's voice. Plato's tripartite soul shows desire and spirit warring against reason, but reason can guide us to harmony. The modern world amplifies this war, feeding our ego's fears while starving our soul's truth. But there's hope, because the soul never stops whispering, waiting for you to listen. Try this now. Pause for 10 seconds. Close your eyes. Ask, what does my soul want? Maybe it's to create, to connect, to forgive. That whisper is your guide. The dignity test can help you hear it. When you feel that urge to control, to compare, to hide, ask, is this fear or truth? This is how you start to shift the war, one choice at a time. Society doesn't want you to hear your soul. It sells you masks, myths that promise happiness but deliver chains. Wealth equals worth. Strength equals dominance. Safety equals control. These are cover-ups, lies designed to keep your ego in charge, your soul silenced. The ego isn't evil, it's a protector turned tyrant, built to shield you from childhood wounds but now imprisoning you in a life that feels wrong. The world profits from this, feeding your nafs al-amara, the commanding ego, while your soul starves for truth. Think of Sarah, refreshing her inbox for her boss's approval, her stomach in knots. Or Alex, buying a car he can't afford to keep up, his chest tight with shame. Or Priya, posting her art for likes, her heart sinking when the numbers don't climb. These are the ego's victories, society's lies. Islamic psychology warns of the nafs al-amara, the ego that commands evil, but it also offers hope. The nafs al-lawwama, the self-reproaching ego, begins to question these myths. It's the moment Sarah pauses before snapping back, the moment Alex admits he's lost, the moment Priya chooses to create for herself. Plato's tripartite soul reveals this struggle. Desire and spirit war against reason, but reason can lead us to harmony. Jung's shadow, the parts of you the ego hides, must be faced to find wholeness. The cover-up is that you're meant to stay fragmented, chasing external validation. But the soul knows better. When Priya paints for joy, not likes, she feels it. When Alex forgives himself, he feels it. When Sarah chooses authenticity over ambition, she feels it. The dignity test at Renewed Psyche helps you see this. Ask, is this choice driven by fear or truth? Fear is the ego's mask. Truth is the soul's light. Society's myths are powerful, but they're not unbreakable. The Stoics teach us to let go of what we can't control, others' opinions, wealth, status, and focus on our choices. Every time you choose truth over fear, you weaken the ego's grip. Every time you listen to your soul, you take a step toward freedom. This is the war we're fighting, not against the world, but within ourselves. What is the soul's highest desire? To live authentically, to serve, to connect with something greater, God, the universe, your purpose. Jung's individuation process is this journey, facing your shadow, integrating your ego, becoming whole. Islamic psychology charts the path from nafs al-amara to nafs al-mutmana, the serene soul at peace with the divine. Plato's rational soul seeks harmony with the eternal, balancing desire with purpose. These are not just philosophies, they're maps to a renewed psyche. Is enlightenment the death of the ego? No, it's the transformation. The ego isn't your enemy, it's a guide, humble to serve the soul. Stoicism teaches this. Detach from illusions, status, approval, control. Focus on what's real, your values, your actions. Sarah learns this when she mentors a colleague instead of chasing praise. Alex finds it when he journals his fears, releasing their hold. Priya feels it when she paints from her heart, not for likes. Why do most of us avoid this journey? Because it feels like death, a death of the false self, a rebirth into truth. The ego fears this, clinging to society's lies, to the comfort of the familiar. But the soul's voice grows louder in stillness, in silence, in service. Try this now. Pause for 10 seconds. Close your eyes. Listen. What does your soul say? Maybe it's to forgive someone, to create something true, to let go of a grudge. That's the bigger picture, a life aligned with truth, not illusion. The breakthrough method at Renewed Psyche is your guide to this alignment. First, pause, find 5 minutes of silence daily. No phone, no noise, just you and your soul. Second, reflect, use the dignity test. Ask, is this fear or truth? Write down your answer. Third, act, take one small step toward truth. Apologize sincerely. Create without seeking approval. Serve without expecting reward. These steps don't destroy the ego, they transform it, aligning it with your soul's call to a life of purpose and dignity. Here's the revelation. You don't need to destroy your ego to find your soul. You need to listen to it, to guide it, to transform it. The breakthrough method is your map to this transformation. Pause, reflect, act. Pause to create silence, where the soul's whisper can be heard. Reflect with the dignity test. Is this fear or truth? To uncover what's driving you. Act by choosing one small step toward your soul's truth, a step toward dignity, toward wholeness. The dignity test is your compass. When Sarah feels defensive in a meeting, she asks, is this ego or soul? And chooses to listen, to understand. When Alex feels the urge to compare himself online, he stops, breathes, and writes down his values, family, honesty, growth. When Priya hesitates to share her art, fearing judgment, she asks, "Is this fear or truth?" And paints for herself, her heart alight. These are soul-led choices, building dignity, step by step. Daily habits shape the war. Ego habits, comparison, control, distraction, keep you fragmented, anxious, lost. Soul habits, stillness, gratitude, service, bring you closer to peace. Stoicism teaches you to let go of external validation, to focus on what's in your control. Jung's individuation shows the courage it takes to face your shadow, to integrate your ego with yourself. Islamic psychology guides you to purify your nafs, to align with the divine ruh. Together, these wisdoms lead to a renewed psyche, a life of purpose, clarity, and truth. What if you could win this war? Not by fighting harder, but by listening deeper? The breakthrough method and dignity test are your tools to shift from ego fear to soul truth. They're not just ideas, they're practices, choices, moments of courage. And they work. Let's show you how. This war isn't won in a day, but in a moment. Right now, pause. Take the dignity test. Think of a choice you made today. Was it driven by ego or soul? Write it down. Feel the weight of it. Was it fear, trying to control, to impress? Or truth, acting from love, from purpose? Now, try the breakthrough method. Pause for 5 minutes of silence, reflect on your truth, and take one small step toward it. Maybe it's saying no to a toxic habit. Maybe it's helping someone without expecting reward. Maybe it's creating something just for you. This is how you evolve, not by chasing perfection, but by embracing your dignity. At Renewed Psyche, we're here to guide you through this journey. Subscribe to our channel for more tools to overcome your inner weaknesses, reactivity, self-doubt, confusion. Share this video with someone fighting their own war, someone who needs to hear their soul's voice. And comment below, what's one step you'll take today to listen to your soul? A pause, a reflection, an act of courage? Let's walk this path together, toward a life of deeper self-awareness, purpose, and peace. The war between ego and soul is yours to win. Not with force, but with truth. Start now. Take the dignity test. Follow the breakthrough method. Choose the golden path. Your renewed psyche awaits.